Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. We are excited to have the Burn Through Catalyst joining us here as a master life coach and, of course, energy healer, also an author. We're here to dive deeper today into, of course, how she can help you, because there's a lot going on. I know the holidays are here, but in general, to help change your life. She's here and, she says you're reliable and that's why you're invisible. Ooh, this could happen sometimes. But first and foremost, Diana, say hello and introduce yourself, please.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Diana Bejasa. I am a speaker, author, coach, empowering high-performing leaders under intense pressure to achieve their boldest goals while reclaiming more energy, more time, and more focus for what really matters most to them, their personal lives. And I use this revolutionary combination of proven systems, energy psychology, AI-driven strategies to help individuals fuel their fire without burning out.
Well, I'm excited you're back. How can we contact you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Diana Bejasa Speaks, DianaBejasa Speaks. Or you can find my website, which is Savor Life with Diana. That's SAVOR lifewithdiana.com.
Well, we're excited you're back, and we're going to talk today more about, you say, the reason that you can't count on anyone. Let's talk about that, because I feel that way sometimes. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Yeah. So I really wanted to dive into this topic because I find that a lot of times it seems like you're the only person who people can rely on, right? You're the one who shows up, you're the one who follows through, you're the one who holds everything together. And at the same time, you're exhausted, you're resentful, you're wondering, like, why does everything always have to fall on me? And we tend to think that our reliability makes us indispensable. But what if it's actually the exact reason that we feel invisible, like our needs and our dreams don't matter? Today, I really want to get into breaking down that hidden cost of being the quote unquote reliable one, and how that there's actually issues about trust in this cycle that are playing out in ways that we don't expect. And that way we can really uncover a way forward that doesn't involve giving up who we are and actually ends up empowering us and empowering others to be truly more reliable.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't know. This is a good conversation. I'm loving this, Diana. Where do we go to next? All right, well, it's still a continuing conversation. So over-reliable makes you feel a certain way. Under-reliable, let's get to that as well.
Yeah, so the reason that we became so reliable is because we've been let down.
Mm-hmm.
So now that reliability is actually stealing our energy, it's erasing our identity, and it's keeping us stuck in relationships where the trust isn't mutual. And what really happened here, maybe if we look at the root of the over-reliability, maybe there was a parent who made promises they didn't keep, or a business partner or a spouse who dropped the ball or didn't follow through, or maybe there was a boss who didn't do what they said that they were going to do, and or even maybe piled on work on you because they knew that you'd never say no. Mm-hmm. Maybe I think about when I was in college, right? Like when we would have group exercises or group projects, right? There were always those kids who did nothing, and then there were the kids who always did everything because they wouldn't they couldn't accept a bad grade, so they basically overcompensated and made sure that they were doing everything. And that was definitely me.
Mm-hmm. The overachiever, can we say that's the overachiever in a sense? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And there are likely, like I said, different ways that this has proven itself as true to us, right? Like we have to over provide, or we have to overcompensate for other people who don't show up. But the thing is that every time that we take on someone else's responsibility, like in that example where I was sharing of, being in college and doing a group exercise, what we're actually doing is reinforcing the belief that no one can be trusted but us. Mm. And that's not strength. That reliability isn't a badge of honor. It's armor that we're wearing because trust has been broken. It's fear that we're experiencing. Like it's not like, it's not something that we really are like we think it makes us look more powerful, but in reality, what it does is it makes us, like I was saying, resentful, angry, exhausted, frustrated that other people aren't stepping up. But in reality, we're also not making space for other people to step up the way we say that we want them to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have trust issues. This is all resonating with myself, and I'm sure many others out there. But geez.
Yeah.
Ah, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
And
So,
I mean, it's not our fault, that this happened, that we were let down, right? And it became our survival mechanism to say, okay, well, to protect myself from this happening again, I'm gonna make sure that the things don't fall down. I'm gonna take control of all those different things. And so we're seeking external control.
yeah.
And what we're doing instead, because we are the people who always pick up all the pieces, we attract people who always let the pieces fall. I think that's like the most disappointing part of it.
It
And the
really
frustrating
is.
thing,
It
right?
is.
It's
It
like,
is. Are you there?
oh
Hello?
yeah.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
wow.
was just thinking, it's just like it is so difficult to realize that the reason that we are this way, the reason we're so reliable is because somebody else broke our trust.
How do you fix this? I'm at a loss for words here. This is
Yeah.
describing. Yeah, this is. All right,
You're not alone. You're
and
not alone.
all
So how
right,
do we
all
get
right.
through it?
Yeah, let's
Um,
figure this out because, wow.
yeah.
By the way, I
So
can't
again,
click on more of your notes, just letting you know. So
okay.
I just see the first two parts. So if I'm missing something, that's why I'm relying on you right now. I only see up to being
Okay.
over reliable, and then I can't open it up. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's all good. It's all good. So, yeah. So if over reliability is how we've coped with broken trust, we can see how it's costing us today in our relationships, whether they're personal or professional. So let's look at what it is that we can start to do, because the other part of this that's really important is how this being over reliable leaves us under respected today. So when we're the ones who can always follow through, they never have to.
Yeah.
We're the one doing the work of two people and wondering why other people are not stepping up to help us out, right? So, but every time we're overcompensating, every time that you overcompensate, you're teaching others that it's okay to let you down. And that doesn't help you grow and that doesn't help them grow. You think that fixing the problem is what you're doing, but what you're actually doing is you're being so over reliable that they're under reliable. Like you're giving them a free pass almost, right? So if we really want to clean up the mess, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we really want them to clean up the mess, we have to let them.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but that's one of the things that can be really uncomfortable when we're looking to quote unquote fix this is how do we let things fall down, especially when it comes to things like our children, things that really, really matter to us, like I mentioned when I was in college, right? Like the reason that I would pick up the slack is because I didn't want a bad grade and I wasn't going to allow that to happen, right? So there can be these ways that it feels like the stakes are too high for us to let other people have a little bit of control.
Yeah.
But again, that just keeps us stuck in a cycle where we're carrying everybody else's weight and then feeling resentful that they're not doing their part. So for me, what I find is that instead of spending so much time being reliable for others to the degree that we don't even know who we are outside that
Mm-hmm.
role, right? Instead of just picking up their slack, teaching them that it's okay to let us down, we can really look at a different way of being, right? How is it that we can let them fall? How is it that we can hold them accountable for their part? And kind of set standards that really allow them to know, like, we're not going to continue to do the work for you anymore. And this is so perfect for me as I was thinking about this episode, because for me, the way that this is showing up right now is in my co-parenting relationship, right? Like,
Ah.
I read this thing. I think I saw it on TikTok, but it was like, you are an A parent, but if
Uh-huh.
you had a kid with a C parent, right? Like,
I know this is getting tricky. Yeah.
you have to understand that there's going to be a difference in the level of parenting, and we can want to control that, right? So like for me, it's like when it comes to my daughter, I make sure that she's eating complete meals, that she's eating enough, right? Whether it's a combination of breast milk or solids. I'm making sure that she's getting all the nutrition needs that needs that she has, right? Like that she's a very diet, like definitely like an A type parent. And it can be frustrating when that's not the same energy that of the kind of person that you've attracted, for example. And there has to be a way where you kind of just let it be, right? And really think about like the bigger picture of things, right? And I'm not saying that we have to give up being over reliable in all circumstances, because there are places where it really does matter, but we have to pick our battles, and we have to let people fail in some cases, or we have to let people make mistakes in some cases so that they can learn, because otherwise they're never going to learn as long as we're fixing their problems.
Yeah, it's so true. Oh my goodness. Okay, but if you're always like the fixer, you always want to help, how do you control that? And you got to let it go. How do you let it go? It's like the song Let It Go, Frozen.
Yeah, well, I think how to let it go kind of dives into, you have to decide which things to let go of and which to not, right? Like there's certain priorities where you're not going to let go. And there are going to be some places where you being over reliable is a positive in your arsenal. But there have to be other places where you have to say, all right, I can't control all the things. I have to let these things go. And I think it's also important to look at, when we think about where to let go, we have to look at where it's worthwhile for that other person to build up their reliability. And why I say that, right? So in the example of a college group, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care about teaching the other person to step up. I care more about my grade, for example, right? So maybe in that situation, it makes sense that I'm going to overcompensate.
Yeah.
But when we're overcompensating and we are over reliable, for example, with our kids, we're teaching them to be under reliable.
Mm-hmm.
And so are there situations where it would be okay if our kid falters a little bit or learns their lesson on being reliable and we don't pick up the slack for them? Because that's like that's the thing, right? Is reliability isn't just stealing our energy, it's stealing their opportunity to grow, to evolve, and to step into responsibility. So again, it matters. Do we want the other person to become more reliable? Is their reliability more important than our comfort of it happening exactly the way that we want it to?
It's
because otherwise, go ahead.
No, it's just draining.
It's
Both
draining.
people, both ends, everyone. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And like really, we're showing our kids or our team that burnout and resentment are the norm, right? So if they become over reliable like us, they're learning, oh, this burnout, this resentment, this is normal. Or we're teaching them, oh, somebody else will do all the work for me. I can sit back and do nothing.
Yeah.
And either way, that's not the legacy that we want to leave. So we need to look at the situations where we know that we want this person to be responsible, where we want them to build reliability if they have under reliability. And we have to trust that they're going to step up. And that is terrifying. But it's really the best way for them to learn, because when we're overcompensating for other people's failure, we're not just losing ourselves, we're enabling the very unreliability that we're resentful of, right? We're attracting unreliable people because, of course, unreliable people are going to like over-reliable people. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We can't change other people. We can only work on changing ourselves. And that's one of the things we always have a hard time explaining, understanding. It's, and you got to let go of that control. And as a single parent, it's like, you got to let go of that, because when my kid is with the other parent, everything is off. The schedule is off. Everything is different. And then my son comes home and it's a whole nother world. Well, Dad said I could do this. Dad, and I'm just like, Arr! And I used to want to scream, and I did. And now I just say, that's okay. And I try to hold it in and, send a nice text message to Dad saying, he was supposed to be in bed by this time. That's why he's tired today. But yeah, it's the same concept. I know. Wow.
Yeah. And over time, my understanding is they get to see and respect the boundaries that you're setting, and like understand the structure that we are setting for our kids. And again, like you said, it's so much of realizing we can't control what the other person is going to do.
Yeah.
What we can control is how they come home, the care that we give them here, and getting them back on schedule as quickly as possible, because they'll see, right? Like, I mean, if they're coming home cranky, tired, all the things, when they're out in the world making their own decisions and they notice, I'm a little cranky, things are off, they're going to remember or have this experience of, oh, this is how my mom used to get me back on schedule. And so even if it's not what they want right now, I think it is modeling for them, like, this is how you build this structure of being a reliable person the way you want to. And the example that we leave them is the most powerful thing that we can do, because Lord knows they don't pay attention to what we say.
It's so darn true. All right. Remind us how we can contact you. We still have plenty more time, but it's always a good idea to remind our listeners here how we get in touch with you and savor our life with you, Diana.
So it's savorlifewithdiana.com. You can sign up for a free consultation there if you want to know a little bit more about working with me. I also have a masterclass where I talk a little bit more about what it is, these habits that we have that lead us towards burnout, that a lot of A-type people tend to find themselves with. High achievers find why it is that they tend to get more burned out. And there are habits like over reliability that we get into and actually can begin to break even if they've been around for decades. So definitely recommend the masterclass or the link to my free consultation, both of which you can find on my website, or you can go to my Instagram or my Facebook. It's at Diana Bejasa Speaks. So Diana Bejasa Speaks. But I want to talk about helping these people step up. I want to talk about us stopping this enabling of incompetence and trusting that people can step up. Because when we're saying yes to everything, we're not leading, we're enabling incompetence. And what we need to do instead is step back and give other people space to step up. And it can feel sometimes like it's abandonment, but it's actually empowerment. So I think a lot about when I used to work as a chef and I would train different teams to cook. When they were first opening a restaurant, I would teach them different recipes. And one of my last days there, I would always basically completely be hands off. So I would stop doing all the things for them and I would let them do all the things themselves. Mm-hmm. And it was a little uncomfortable because I'm a doer, right? So I like to do all the things and to make sure everything is running smoothly. But it's better for them to have things fall through the cracks and have the experience of, it's kind of like them riding a bike on their own. If they can ride the bike without me holding it, then they're going to figure out that little balance and I'll be there to catch them if they need. So those last days, it would always feel to me like I was doing nothing. But I started to reframe my mind to say, I'm actually doing everything. I'm giving them this space to figure things out on their own so that they know what the mistakes could look like themselves. They can try to problem solve themselves. And they also know I'm right there for them if something does go wrong.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm pulling off the training wheels, but I'm right there with them. And as much as it seems like I'm doing nothing, I'm actually doing everything for them, because that is the best way for them to start to feel more empowered, to really learn what it's like to be independent and to really not hold them back, right? That's how they can step up. That's how they figure out, the balance themselves. That's how they figure out how to problem solve. And those are greater skills that I can give them than just solving the problem for them in the instant.
Beautifully said. All right. We still have some more time here. And let me just ask you, though, for those that may not know about you, your work, the book, Manifest Your Dreams. How does that coincide? Because we could really use that to manifest and change our behaviors too, right?
Yeah. So this is the Manifest Your Dreams journal.
Oh, it just disappeared. Isn't that weird? These backgrounds, sometimes I see half an ear, half a hand. There it goes. Beautiful.
So you can get this on Amazon. Just look up my name, Diana Bejasa, Diana Bejasa. And it's a 15-minute system that I've taught to other high performers, all of my clients. A lot of times when I was working with them, I would teach them about using these specific steps in a strategic way. And oftentimes, one of the challenges they came up with was only having 15 minutes a day to do the work or less. And I'd be like, okay, well, if we can dedicate 15 minutes, here's how we get really strategic and focused with our 15 minutes to make continual and meaningful progress in the ways that we want to, while also shifting our mindset towards seeing more of the growth, more of the progress, more of what we want. And what happens as a result is within a week, my clients notice that they're feeling better. They're feeling more positive and upbeat. Within a month, they're seeing their world change or seeing things completely differently. And as they keep going with a journal, just 15 minutes a day, it's less than 1% of your time, you can actually see yourself manifest your dreams. And this concept, right, this goes along with it. So as we're looking at the progress that we can make, if we let go a little bit, right, because a lot of this is trusting that the other person can do it, right? And trusting, okay, they have the capacity, maybe they've never shown me, but they have the capacity, or they need to learn, right? If it's our kids, they need to learn how to do this. Then what we can say and do for ourselves is say, okay, I'm going to begin to slowly back away. I'm going to let them fall a little bit. I'm going to let them figure it out. And they know the best thing that they can do and have is me there to tell them and to let them see, like, okay, when you fall, I'm here for you. I can help you get back on track. And also, like, they have the example that we've given them of how to get back on track. So they may figure it out on their own as well, which is honestly like the most rewarding way for them to to figure out not to do it, right? And this is really how we can enable the people that we lead, whether it's our children, whether it's our team, whether it's people in our family or anywhere else that we may work. This is how we can best enable them to grow. And whenever I work with teams, right, because I coach a lot of leaders, I always tell them that as a leader, like, I don't know what's going to come up for you in this time that you're a leader, but whatever it is, this is here to enable you to grow. And one of the greatest challenges that leaders have, I find, when they're growing, when they're stepping into greater leadership, is this delegation. It's the letting go of things. It's the trusting that those things can happen. And I always look at, when we have those opportunities to let other people do things, seeing it as a way for us to say, like, okay, maybe I didn't, where I can be responsible is how can I communicate this more effectively?
Yeah.
Maybe I gave them the instructions, but I didn't really convey it in a way where I explained what was the most important things that they needed to know. Maybe I gave them too much information. How do I condense what it is that I'm communicating, right? So whatever it is, I always look at it like, where I can accept the growth of leadership is not by taking everything on and thinking that I need to control everything, is actually creating space for other people to rise to the challenge, being a better communicator. And that's what I think is the real leadership. So it's really not, real leadership is not about doing it all. It's about building that trust in yourself, in others, so that others can rise to the occasion. And when we do that, we then become the natural leaders who they want to follow, as opposed to them feeling like we're stuffing, responsibilities or things down their throat. And that's how I believe that we empower ourselves and the people around us.
Beautifully said. Well, thank you so much. And as far as the holidays, just curious, what do you have planned? Anything exciting?
I have family who are coming in town, and I'm leveraging some of my old chef skills. So I'm going to make lasagna from scratch. Like, I'm going to make a bolaise using some of the techniques I learned when I was in Bologna working as a chef. I'm gonna make fresh pasta because I think that it's like,
wait, like flour, like make like what, do you have a pasta maker
flour,
thing?
egg. I'm gonna roll out the pasta. I believe that when I'm gonna do something and when I'm gonna give it to my family and to people I love, like, I just want it to be like epic and the most wonderful thing. So I bought all my Parmigiano already. I'm gonna make a bechamel. I'm also gonna make a tiramisu. And depending on how ambitious I'm feeling, I may also do some cookie decorating with my daughter, because I think she'll
Wow. God bless you. Just curious, what do you have at home to make the pasta? Like, I tried making pasta with my son. I don't have any machine to make it fancy or push it through. So we tried cutting it. It was horrible. Do you have an actual, what do you call it? A pasta?
Yeah, it's like a pasta machine that you roll pasta out with. But you can do it with a rolling pin, the old school no way of doing it.
That's what I did. And then we used a knife to cut it, and then we put it in the water to boil. It was just too thick. It was not good. I didn't make it really good. You
need to make it as thin as humanly possible. So it's like almost like a millimeter in thickness. And it's a skill that I get to use every now and then, and I always love to get to share it with family.
Oh my goodness, I love hearing this. That's exciting. So you're off all day tomorrow, and you're going to do all the cooking, or are you starting tonight?
I'm probably going to make my ragu tonight, maybe tomorrow.
Wait, when you say ragu, you're not making jar sauce. Ragu meaning?
Like bolognese. So I'm going to make like a white...
I know the word ragu is only from like a brand name of the sauce in the jar. Wait, what is...
No, ragu means sauce.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Okay. I'm like, I thought she was hand making everything. I'm the ragu girl, and I buy the rayos, and
So I'm going to make my tomato sauce. I'm going to make a bechamel. I'm going to make the fresh pasta. I'm going to make the bolognese. But the thing I need to start first is probably the bolognese, the meat sauce. And I don't put any tomato in my meat sauce because it's a white traditional like how they do it in Bologna.
Oh my goodness.
So, yeah.
Oh, well, best of luck and enjoy the holiday and this most serene time. I mean, at Olive's age, does she ask for anything yet or no? She's too little to.
No, I'm honestly and I'm not a big person on gifts. Like, I think that sometimes it's like a little bit of a culture of overconsumption. So I'm going to she doesn't care about gifts either anyway, but I know she's going to have a lot of fun unwrapping the stuff.
Yes.
So I'm actually going to take her current gifts or like things we have, like this box of Sharpies, and I'm going to wrap this up, and she's just going to have fun unwrapping stuff. Like, she doesn't care about the gift itself.
Well, you know what I did for my kids? They're a little older, 7 and 9, so they want gifts. But like the shirt that I got them, or the pants that I got them, I put them in a big box, so they're not going to know. It's the excitement of opening something is really what it comes down to. It is more than anything. And sometimes I know in the years past they don't like opening clothes because this is clothes. If I put it in a box now, they're going to be like, okay, not as excited, but
yeah, exactly. It's about the anticipation. It's about the experience of not knowing what's inside and just opening up something. And I think we can say the same thing about leadership, right?
Yeah, it's true.
So when we're empowering people to become the leaders that we want, right? Like, when we make it exciting for them, when they feel like they're getting this chance to uncover things on their own, they get excited about who they become, and we get to be part of that discovery process and just watch as they develop into the empowered, reliable people we want them to be.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. Pleasure having you here. Great getting to chat with you as always. You're just an amazing person helping so many, and I want to wish you a happy holidays again. And if we want to reach out, tell us how we do so, or pick up a copy of the book.
Yes, so you can pick up a copy of the Manifest Your Dreams Journal on Amazon. Look for my name, Diana Bejasa, Diana Bejasa. You can also use that to find me on Instagram or TikTok. It's Diana Bejasa Speaks. Or you can go to my website, book a consultation, or check out my free masterclass. That's Savor Life with Diana. That's SAVOR Life with Diana. I also, by the way, I do put recipes. There's a little freebie at the very bottom of my website. So if you want recipes, I just give them out because it's a pleasure. And I know that, the more people who have knowledge of how to do things, that means that I get to eat more delicious food. So,
amazing. Well, thank you so much. Enjoy, sweetheart. We'll talk next week, I guess. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all the above. Goodbye, darling. Bye. Mwah.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.